Hey, how are we? Doing good. It's been a whole weekend since I saw you last, but wow, a time was had last weekend. We did an art worth sharing style paint party for my partner's birthday. Shout out to the Cancers, Cancer season. Love it because it just brings everyone together with food and talking, and we decided to have it right in our home, and we have a nice big patio, so we said why not put a big tent and bring out some folding tables and chairs and do a pop-up paint party. And so, if it's art worth sharing style, we got to paint the iconic paint it yourself kits, and everybody picked one, and then all they had to do was set it up on their easel, and they already had paints and brushes, and all they had to do was bring out their drinks, and the conversation started, and it was just an automatic good time because everybody loves a good paint party, right? So that was cool. But what was not cool was that full moon. Let's talk about last Thursday and Friday with the full moon in Capricorn. And I warned y'all. I warned everybody, even myself. I even listened to my own videos for advice. And how did I still walk smack dead into that Cancer meets Capricorn energy? And I think I'm gonna blame this hematite. I was telling you about my cage and my new crystals, and it did its job. It returned negative energy to sender. The problem was me and my partner were both wearing the hematite piece, so we just kept bouncing that negative energy because it was very cold. It felt so cold to have emotions, not know how to share it or what to do with it, because it's only met with that cold, daddy, don't bother me kind of energy. And we were both in that energy, and one of us would kick it off, the other one would just bring it right back, and we were just in a crazy pattern. And I was just like, this has to stop. So much was said in those pop-offs, in those snap-off sessions when, the emotions were just running so high, especially anger and just that hot-headed aggression. And it was relentless, and it went on for hours. And thank goodness that by Saturday, earlier in that morning, before all the guests arrived, my partner and I did something really brave, and I want to share this exercise with you, especially if you have a partner. And you can do it by yourself, but sharing and bouncing off of one another is also ideal. So we both took a piece of paper. We wrote down everything that was said to us by the other person that was hurtful, or that was still hurting our feelings, or made us upset, or things that we felt were unfairly said to us. Like, if we could still remember it, that meant that it needed to be dealt with and integrated back into a peaceful, loving energy. So we made lists, and then the next part was to reveal to the partner what version of ourselves was speaking at that time. So, for example, when my partner called me arrogant, or said something that like really stung, I would ask him, when you said that I was arrogant, what version of yourself was speaking at that time? And how that helps is that there's an explanation of where that version is coming from, why they said it, and there's usually an apology after that, because remarkably we would come to our senses and say, you know what, that wasn't fair, I didn't really mean that, or that was misdirected your way, that was really some comments reserved for someone else and you just happened to be there, or it was a projection. So long story short, we realized that we were a lot of times saying something to the other person that didn't have anything to do with that other person in truth. So the only way that we could get to the bottom of it is if we were vulnerable, though. We had to be able to be honest about where that hurtful remark was even coming from. Why did we say it? We had to own it. We had to take that accountability and say, you know what, this was my inner child speaking at the time, or this was a pain body. You know, I was in my pain body and I was speaking from that. I was feeling jealousy. I was envious, like I was hurt, you know. So just letting the other person know who was talking and sharing why that was said, that was groundbreaking for us, and we were able to move on and flip that energy, that crucible energy of being ground up into pieces and bits of our ego. And spiritual people are human too. They get pissed off too. Don't get it twisted. I think that sometimes there's an expectation that because I'm all peaceful and zen on these videos and I'm talking, that there isn't this other side of me that, you know, can go there if someone's going there with me. And, you know, sometimes I envision myself, I'm like cross-legged, I'm protecting my peace, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm sitting like as a Zen master, and I envision that my partner comes in and he just starts pulling my arm and knocking me upside the head. And those are like, that's his storm of emotions, right? It's rocking my whole piece, and I'm like, well, I can still deal with this. I'm gonna just speak calmly, and then something happens, things escalate even more, and then before I know it, there's no way that I can just stay in it. And I, you know, am firm with my boundaries. I, you know, say my truth. I like really engage in the conflict, and then I get the, you're supposed to be on a higher level than this. You're supposed to sit and, you know, how are you yelling and screaming at me? I thought you were, you know, that woman on your videos, like you're a fraud, you know? So that's how it can feel. But when we uncovered where such things, such energy was coming from, you know, it's not actually the case that that was for me. That could be for any other spiritual person, even if your parent is a pastor, or even if, you know, your best friend is a Zen Buddhist, or like whoever it is, they're human too, right? And I just really came to the conclusion from that activity that me and my partner did that, you know, it's never about you. You never should take it personally, because when people are treating you a certain kind of way, it's like triggers and things that come from their story, their side of, you know, of things. And so you can't ever feel like those attacks are just for you. And all the hurtful things that I said to my partner that he was still healing from the next day, none of that was for him. And we realized this after doing that activity. And so I apologized in kind for the parts that I said that affected him, that were unfair, like just said out of sheer envy, or, you know, there was a part of me that didn't want him to have a celebration for his birthday because I didn't get a celebration for my birthday. And so it was just like, you know, there was a reason why I didn't get that at that time. And once I realized that the reason was me and no one else, I had to apologize for how I was treating him, as if, well, we're not going to do any paint parties or anything fun for you. And, you know, it was not so tit for tat anymore. And I think that it was just powerful, because then we truly forgave one another, and forgiveness is what burns karma, any kind of karma. And we were able to step forward more healed and more just, you know, I'll say this, it's hard for me to apologize for things but doing that exercise, the apology came naturally, because I was able to see very clearly how I was in the wrong. And once I did that, I saw tears in my partner's eyes. It is truly something that is felt deeply when there is real apology and real forgiveness, and the karma just disappears, vanishes. So you'll easily be able to move forward after that, changed. You won't still be harboring anything that is, negative energy. And so I was really proud of us for being able to transmute that. And then we lived happily ever after. Just kidding. But the Saturn energy was put in check. That's the way that you want to use that Capricorn energy. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. It's the same energy that wants emotions handled with maturity. And so we did that, and it was kind of a head start or a practice run, because as of yesterday, the 13th, Saturn went retrograde. So it is now spinning and wobbling in its orbit. It isn't able to just, strongly orbit the sun. It is all wonky and God knows what it's doing. And so what that means for us energetically is that from now through November, that very strict Saturn, like Capricorn energy, it won't be as strong. So I joked and said, you know what, it's like Daddy left the house. Daddy got pissed off during that full moon and he just ran out. And it's like the kids are all at play now because Daddy isn't there to discipline them and whoop their butt, right? So but it's not quite that drastic. Like, it's not like playtime, reckless energy time, like all that. Think of it like if you were put in charge of holding the fort down by your dad, and then he left, and when he returned, he's like, oh, I see you've been doing a good job, keeping everything together, and so here's your reward for how well you held it down. You can look at it like that and just hold yourself accountable, okay, without being forced to. Choose integrity when it's not even required, and redefine what structure means for your life, because I think that me and my partner found a structured way to resolve our conflicts now, and it's all because of that activity that we did and how that helped us to process our emotions more maturely, more responsibly. And so, yes, when it's November and the Capricorn energy starts being more direct again and strong again, celebration will be in order if we can keep it up this whole time. And so I challenge you to do the same. Maybe you can try that exercise if you lost your cool during the full moon. If that's still lingering, you still got hurt feelings about what somebody said to you, write it down, ask them to share what version of themselves said it, why they said it, and then a apology will probably come after that, and you'll be able to forgive them for saying it, and then you'll be able to move on. But I just gotta say, it takes a lot of integrity. You gotta be able to just keep it 100 with whoever you're having that conversation with, because if they're lying because they're too afraid to admit wrongdoing or a mistake that they made, it's never going to work, right? And so it's just for the people who are grown, who are mature enough to handle it. All right, so that's my good word for today. I think I might continue to talk about this Saturn retrograde energy as we go along, but I just wanted to share this activity in case it is helpful to you. But until next time, peace everybody, and be cool. Don't lose your cool anymore. Make Daddy proud. Peace.